Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will be visiting the UK on his second foreign visit since the Russian invasion, as per the statement issued by British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's office. Zelensky will visit Ukrainian troops currently training in Britain and address the House of Commons, which is the British Parliament. He will also hold talks with PM Sunak and meet with UK's military chiefs. The statement issued by Number 10 says, since 2014, the UK has provided vital training to Ukrainian forces, which has allowed them to defend their country, protect their sovereignty and fight for their territory. Adding, PM Sunak is proud that today we will expand that training from soldiers to Marines and fighter jet pilots, ensuring Ukraine has a military able to defend its interests well into the future. Number 10 has announced plans to expand training for Ukraine's armed forces to sea and air. It will now include fighter jets and Marines, along with accelerated supply of military equipment. This training will ensure that pilots can fly sophisticated NATO standard fighter jets in the future. And just like his former British PM Boris Johnson, Sunak too has quoted the brotherly bond between UK and Ukraine. He said Zelensky's visit to the UK is a testament to his country's courage, determination and fight, and a testament to the unbreakable friendship between our two countries. Meanwhile, the UK will also announce further sanctions against people who they claim helped Putin build his personal wealth, as well as companies that are fueling Kremlin's war machine. The UK has already on multiple occasions sanctioned hundreds of Russian individuals and companies since the war broke out last February. For more on this, we are being joined by our correspondent Alex Izat from London. Alex, it's Zelensky's first trip to the UK since the invasion. Now, what could be the possible agenda behind the visit?
Well, it's interesting that he's coming over at this time. We are nearly a year off the start of the Russian invasion. And since then, the Ukrainians have been fighting on their own land. But for the last couple of months, we've had 10,000 Ukrainian soldiers trying to learn how to pilot, fight in Challenger tanks. And now we will get another 20,000 to train for the jets. So it looks like Zelensky's coming over to make things smooth with the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, because there was also that a little bit of an interest in Boris Johnson. He spoke out a couple of weeks ago about how he'd like Boris Johnson to potentially be the go-between between the UK and Ukraine. So it's likely that that is also going to be something that he will address when he speaks with Rishi Sunak in private. But I think a lot of people in the UK are asking what is actually happening on the ground in the Ukraine. There's been a lot of money that's been sent over from the public, and a lot of the public will is starting to falter a little bit. When I've been out and about, there are many questions that are going on by the public asking why are we giving so much money and we're not seeing any progress. So we're understanding that later when Zelensky speaks in the House of Commons, he may address all of those questions that are being asked. And also, why is he now coming over? We see Zelensky has a little bit of a star quality since the war in Ukraine, and he has been on television in America and he's been on a lot of award shows. So that kind of personality that he'll be bringing over may also shine when he comes and stands in front of the House of Commons later today. I'm speaking to Rishi Sunak, but many people will be questioning again how much more money is the UK going to be offering, and is it now just about training troops, or are we going to be sending over more jets and more tanks? Because we're not, obviously the UK is not the only country that's also helping with this fight. Germany has put a lot of money into, and a lot of Europe as well. So it will be quite interesting to see how this continues and how long he'll be over for.
Alex, that was exactly what I was wanting to discuss with you next. Could there be a possible request from Zelensky for British aircraft to be sent to Ukraine as well? There is a lot of training going on for pilots anyway, but I think that is something that could be discussed in the meeting. What do you feel?
Yeah, absolutely. There's been a lot of requests from Zelensky for very many different types of ammunition, for tanks, for planes. And of course, the UK hasn't just tried to stand back a bit on spending money on their own armed forces, but there is quite a lot of aircraft and vehicles that aren't in use at the moment. So it is likely that that's going to be a bit of a negotiation between the two prime ministers there about what exactly can we send over that won't affect the UK in case of times of need. But it is likely if you're getting trained in a specific type of vehicle, then they probably do want those vehicles to go back over to Ukraine as well. But there has to be some kind of softly approach as well. It does need to take into account that Putin is still quite powerful in Russia and he is still fighting. In fact, earlier we did hear that Russia has been trying to fight back against what they perceive as bad press from the US and also these myths that have been sending out. And we don't want to, the UK doesn't want to be seen as only promoting one side of the story. I think that there has to also be this conversation about what is happening on the ground, and hopefully that's what is going to be happening today.
Thank you for all the inputs, Alex.